Holders of hands, I know I do see that are a few teams' favourites. We do not know if Duke Game will have a commentator or not, because I think that is a 9 o'clock one, so that'll just be sorted out later. Alright, and here we go. Kanga passing to Shek, baby. All the way in, straight in. Trying to get that straight away goal. Very aggressive already. Now Ivory pulling it all the way back to Moogle in keeper. Over to Crimson Wolf on the wing. Pushing it to the other wing. Shek, baby does get a bit of a block, but it doesn't really do much for the pass. Ivory trying to find a space. Pushing it over to the wing. And they're trying to push it back. Seems to be playing quite a passive game. And we're going back to the box. Potentially a bad pass, which leads to a goal. There was one attacker in that box, and the pass through was just so unfortunate. Seems to be Ivory trying to pass it back. Crimson, unfortunately, getting the deflect onto it. This does happen sometimes. It's just very unfortunate things when you're under the pressure of an attacker. These things happen. Hopefully they can try and bring it back with another goal themselves. Crimson trying to push. Ritz passing it back to Blue. Pony trying to pressure that keeper as well. We might see a long pass potentially, or they might just go short. Depends what they want to do now. They do have the lead, so the game is kind of in their hands. They can choose to waste time pushing it all the way over to Shek. Moogle coming out to push it away. Going straight over to the wing as well. Crony trying to get past Kanga. Using the extra effort there, but Kanga just managing to keep up with him. But he does get to dribble pass over to Crimson now. Crimson versus Ritz. Pushing into the corner. Ritz tries to slide it and does get a bit of a slide, and they get to push it back to keeper. Crony almost getting to steal it away though. Shek, baby pushing. Essentially has a one-on-one with the keeper. And he goes backboard, and the dive to save after the dive from the backboard. Moogle just being able to get that again, pushing the ball away. That was a very close sign for a second goal. Seems to be Goons passing back to Kanga. They might try and reset up their attack. Off the wall. Straight to Goon. To the centre to Kanga and Ritz. Back into the box. Ivory managing to steal that. Trying to go for a shot from Shrek, baby. And now Ivory sliding to get that ball back in his possession on the offensive half. He does have two players on him though. Baroni's just got one. Ritz does get that tackle though. It has been nice challenges and a slide again. And yes, I did accidentally say Shrek, baby. It is meant to say Shek, baby, sorry. And he's pushing it in. Crimson taking a shot. Oh, almost in the top corner. He got for another shot, and Blue does get to save this one. Very close goal, almost making it 1-1. Blue now focusing on setting up for his team. Coming out of the box a bit, seeing who he can pass to. It seems to be a tight man-to-man mark, which does give Blue some space. But are they going to try and punish this? Genio coming in. Ivory stealing that ball away, going straight for a shot potentially. Blue gets back in time though. It was a nice save from Blue, pushing over to Kanga now in the corner. And they're just going back and forth a little bit. Trying to make sure they can probably bait out a player, set up their attack. Genio trying to bait out the keeper pass as well there. Crony now getting the ball from that long pass. And Crimson now pushing. Goes back to Kanga. Kanga pushing it to Goon. Goon trying to get it all the way to Shek. Ivory stealing it. Pushing it to the wing to Crony. Crony putting it in. And Goon managing to header that away. Ivory does get it. So they do maintain possession though. Goon sliding away, but Crimson Wolf stealing that. Pushing it into the box. Kanga pushing it away now. Ivory versus Shek. Ivory just holding down that ball. Pushing it back into the box. And he goes for a pass ball in. Blue there being patient. Saving the ball. Ritz pushing it down off the wall. Very nice pass. Goon going in for a shot. Going to corner. And it just comes off the wall. Ivory now just passing it back to the keeper, trying to make sure they don't panic, make sure they can set themselves back up. They want to try and tie this game as quickly as possible, but Goon gets that ball, going for another shot off the wall, back again into the bottom corner, and it's a goal! Goon doing a nice self-setup against those two defenders there, keeping himself patient, and unfortunately it just means it's 50-50 for the GK to try and figure it out. Watching that again. Goon off the wall and into the bottom corner. That leaves the game 2-0 with 5 minutes 40 left into the game though. Crimson now trying to push up. Holding the ball a little bit. Trying to see who he could pass to. It's a very tight man-to-man mark now from Holds of Hands. Trying to make sure Tekkerslovakia do not get their position in. And Goon going straight in. Shet going for a shot. Moogle doing a brilliant save there as well. Moogle passing it over to Crimson. Crimson to the midfield. To Ivory. Straight over to Crony. Crony pushing through. Potentially has a one-on-one with the keeper. Shoots. And Blue does save that ball. Blue now trying to find who he can set up with. Ritz does have a bit of space on the side, but it could be potentially intercepted. They're now just going to try and push up. Keep this game slow. They do not have to rush here at all. Pushing it in all the way to Shek. Shek managing to win that actually. Passing into middle. Goon shooting and back in the same spot. It's another goal. Which makes it 3-0 for Holders of Hands. Very good offensive play. Making it very hard for defenders to figure out what needs to go on there. And they are managing just to maintain that momentum. Let's see how this goes. Holding the ball while they change keepers. Ivory giving it over. 2-man on him. Just sort of holding the ball. Pushing it through to Crimson. Crimson getting instantly tackled. And then Crony getting instantly tackled. Kanga trying to go for a goal. Does get tackled though. Try to push it out. Ritz does get that ball. Fortunately though, Crony does seem to have a long run here. He could potentially get through. Can he get a goal off the wall to himself potentially? And just misses it. That is so unlucky. A little bit further and he would have been able to have taken another shot at that goal. They are trying to keep an offensive play here using shooting to pass, keeping that momentum going with what they can. But it seems to be the defense is locking down as much as they can. Ritz unfortunately missing the ball there while using blue sprint. Just passed it back to keeper to try and keep himself safe. Back to Ritz. Going down the wing. Passing down the wing to Goon. Goon pushing into the centre of the box. Ivory kicking it away. Only now having another run. Can he try and do it again? Is he going to try and back wall again? Is he just going to go for a shot? Pushing it to the side. Unfortunately took a bit too long and the defenders managed to get back in time. Blue holding defensive stance. Just to scare him away. As if he's a big bear. Just standing up. Arms out, ready for anything. Straight over to Goon. Goon misses it, unfortunately. Ivory passes it to Shek, though, while trying to clear. Holders of Hands still seem to maintain possession here. You see Blue again, trying to set up. Trying to pass to Ritz, but it's a bit of a short pass. Does get intercepted. Does get intercepted back, though. Still get to keep the offensive power up. Trying to pass through, almost threading the needle perfectly there. Blue just holding stance to make sure he can catch it. We do have someone potentially crashing here on Holders of Hands. Fortunately, with there already being like 3 goals scored and we're quite far into the game, not much that can be done. They're now just trying to hold defense while their player's gone. They are managing to do it well though. Kanga getting a bit of space here. Goon is open. If they do get the pass, it's a bit too short on the pass there. Ivory managing to get that. Apologies, I did state it was the wrong team who lost the ball there. Trying to push back up, trying to get another attack. 2 minutes left, shooting. Blue saving that. Brilliantly diving just to be able to stop that ball from going in. Blue unfortunately getting intercepted. Anger coming all the way in to save that ball. What a stop. Crony going all the way back over. Pushing it back, trying to set up that attack. They need to get goals quite quickly here. They're going for a long shot, passing through. Shot, Blue saving again. Blue absolutely stopping this offensive play. Apologies if the teams are on the wrong sides there. Blue doing absolutely brilliantly. Kanga trying to pass it into Goon. Does get deflected. Crony does have a long run. Blue versus Crony. Can Crony do it this time? Defender coming in and he passes it away unfortunately, and Kanga does get to steal it. Pushing the ball all the way up. Does get blocked by Ivory. Last minute goals need to come out here. And ball in open space. Crimson versus Kanga here. Trying to push the ball back in. Ritz does get that though. Goes back to Blue. All the way up to Kanga, has an open wing here. He can just keep pushing this ball up if he wants to. Depends if he wants to pass or set himself up for a shot here. Going for a very, very long shot. Might have just been a bit too far. And we've got one last setup potentially. Going through the open space. Seems to be they're trying to focus on defense here. Tinio trying to go for a setup. Gets blocked by Ritz. Crimson does steal it through and passes through two players. Trying to dribble. Passes through to his team, and it's 1 goal from Crony. A nice far post goal. Brilliantly set up as well, making the score 3-1. There is 4 seconds left though, and with them being a player down, we assume they're just going to try and hold for the final shot. They do take a bit of a pot shot. Does get taken away from them though. Leaving the score to be 3-1. Brilliant goalkeeping as well from Blue there. Both teams doing really well trying to keep that offensive power up. But it does just end up like this.